Offshore fishing has never been a walk in the park. It's a battle of wits between human ingenuity and the unpredictable twists and turns of nature. To catch 100 tons of seafood, fishermen must sacrifice sweat, tears, and sleepless nights. Tonight, the atmospheric pressure is dropping, and the ocean current is beginning to shift strongly from the southeast towards the basin of the traditional fishing grounds. The captain's voice boomed over the radio, shattering the stillness of the deck. Below, dozens of seasoned fishermen sprang to their feet from their hammocks and on the deck. Without a moment's hesitation, they rushed to their positions like soldiers, preparing for a major battle. Some checked the hydraulic winch system, others examined the knots of the enormous seine net, over 2,000 meters long, while still others prepared the high-powered lights to gather the fish. The captain squinted, trying to locate the fish. This wasn't a small school of fish, but a massive amount, a bountiful catch weighing in at least 100 tons. Nervousness built up in the cockpit, but the commander's composure kept it all under control. He steered the ship to intercept the school of fish, maintaining a sufficient distance so that the engine noise wouldn't startle the fish and scatter them. Once the ship was in a strategic position, against the wind and facing the current, the official order to cast the nets was given. A speedboat launched from towing one end of the enormous seine net. The large ship also began to accelerate, forming a wide arc encircling the area where the fish were concentrated. From the stern, tons of dark nets, along with buoys and sinkers, poured into the sea, creating a long, artificial wall separating. The sound of nets tearing through the wind. The clanging of lead weights against the ship's hull creates a dramatic symphony of labor. Under the powerful lead lights sweeping across the water's surface, millions of fish can be seen panicking as they realize their escape route is narrowing. They dart about frantically, creating swirling white foam, enlivening the otherwise tranquil night sea. The net casting process, lasting nearly an hour, demands absolute precision and coordination between. When the two ends of the net meet, closing the circle of death for the fish, the most tense phase begins, pulling in the lead weights and hauling in the net. The enormous hydraulic winch system on the ship's deck is activated, emitting a dry, screeching roar. Steel cables, as thick as wrists, are stretched taut like guitar strings under the weight of hundreds of tons. Each meter of the net, soaked with the salty taste of seawater and fish slime, begins to be pulled in via a pulley system. The entire deck became a busy and dangerous construction site. The weight of hundreds of tons of fish, along with the pressure of the seawater, caused the nets to swell like giant bubbles beneath the ocean surface. The ship tilted sharply to one side, its hull sinking deep into the water. The fishermen had to stand firmly on the slippery deck, their hands gripping the nets tightly, coordinating their movements with each wave to fold the nets. The net gradually narrowed from a diameter of thousands of meters to just a few dozen meters. The fish, confined to this cramped space, began leaping and splashing on the surface of the water, creating a truly spectacular sight. The silver scales of the fish shimmered under the night lights, forming a brilliant, shimmering ribbon of light that rippled across the ocean. This is when the sheer scale of the catch became apparent. There were so many fish that the surrounding seawater, when the crucial net bag, the concentrated essence of the catch, is pulled close to the ship's side, the heavy-duty hydraulic crane comes into action. A giant scoop made of steel mesh and cable, capable of holding several tons at a time, is lowered into the center of the fish bag. Each time the scoop is lifted, thousands of plump, fresh tuna and mackerel thrash about, spraying water all over the deck. The freezer hatch on the ship's deck was already open. Below, the cooling system using ice salt water and refrigerant gas had lowered the temperature to near zero levels. Ready to receive the catch. A giant net moved to the mouth of the hatch, and the foreman pulled the rope securing the bottom. Asterisk swish, asterisk a torrent of fish poured into the ship's hold. The sound of the fish falling was like a summer rain shower on a tin roof, the sound of scales hitting the iron walls. In the ship's hold, the fishermen tasked with salting the fish work in an extremely harsh environment. Amidst the bone-chilling cold of the salt and the thrashing of the fish, they must quickly distribute the fish evenly to the corners of the hold, spraying them with ice-cold water to ensure the absolute freshness of each fish. For continuously poured, reaching knee-deep, then hip-deep, each skipjack tuna weighs 3 or 4 kilograms, with firm flesh. The crystal-clear eyes are proof of the superb quality of the Yellow Sea, watching the gold and silver of the sea, pouring down and filling the holds. All the fatigue and aches after a long, sleepless night for the fishermen completely disappear. Instead, there are radiant smiles and the overwhelming happiness of a bountiful harvest. This 100-ton catch not only brings great economic value to the fishing trip, this not only helps cover expenses and provides a high income for fishermen's families, but it also serves as a strong affirmation of maritime sovereignty and the unwavering determination of those who venture far out to sea. When Tessip laden with fish turns its bow towards land, leaving behind the white-capped waves. That is when a new journey begins, carrying with it the belief and aspiration to conquer new heights of the vast ocean. The rumbling of the machines and the rushing sound of ice, water blended together, creating a suffocatingly urgent atmosphere. Mackerel, tuna, and skipjack tuna, perfectly preserved at sub-zero temperatures, their bodies firm, their eyes still clear, and their scales, gleaming a silver blue, were dumped onto the conveyor belt for preliminary sorting. They checked freshness, measured the core temperature of the products, and rigorously inspected all biosecurity indicators. Hundreds of tons of fish are unloaded onto an automated conveyor system into the core processing area. Here, hundreds of skilled workers stand along both sides of the long conveyor belts. They work with intense concentration and astonishing precision and rhythm. Their hands, clad in rubber gloves, move swiftly, wielding sharp, specialized knives. They perform the operations cutting the tail, scaling, filleting, or removing the internal organs in just a few short seconds for each fish. Every movement is a clean cut with no wasted motion, ensuring that the fish fillet remains intact, square, and visually appealing. The filleted fish meat has a natural pink or deep red color, is firm, and is not crushed under a continuous stream of cool, ozone-infused water for disinfection. After being cleaned and prepared, the fish fillets, or whole fish depending on the order, commonly move along a conveyor belt towards the laser-based electronic weight sorting machine. This is the technological brain of the factory. As the fish pass through the infrared scanner, the computer system instantly calculates the precise weight of each product unit to the milligram in a fraction of a second, then activates automatic levers to push the fish into the correct size group compartments. The trays of fish are arranged neatly and precisely, like works of art. For premium products like ocean tuna, where like piece of meat is sliced into pieces, placed on specialized trays, and wrapped in shrink wrap under vacuum pressure to preserve the rich, natural fat and the original sweetness of the ocean. As the first rays of dawn began to paint the eastern sky red, the ocean once again tested the courage of the seafarers with a new, more magnificent and fierce chapter. After a brief rest, the ocean-going vessel cut through the waves, heading straight into the heart of the windswept fishing grounds. The pungent smell of salt mingled with the scent of engine oil and fresh fish from the holds, creating a distinctive aroma of life and labor at sea. The captain stood there, as the sun rose high in the sky. Its intense rays began to beat down on the water, revealing the deep, dark blue of the continental shelf. This was when pelagic fish began their large schools of prey. From the high observation deck, the navigator pointed his telescope toward the horizon, where thousands of seabirds soared and plunged into the water like arrows.
Facebook. It's under Tilt Fast. Now today, boy, look at that boy. He'll be fasting like you. Warm up as the only insulated electric boy.
The ship immediately turned, accelerating to full power, creating long streaks of white waves stretching for kilometers behind its stern. The engine roared loudly and relentlessly, as if urging them on. As they approached closer, the sight before them made even the most seasoned fishermen hold their breath. Abastarea of Sispet was unusually turbulent. Millions of mackerel, each as big as an arm, were pressed together in a dense black mass. Casting nets during the day is 10 times more difficult than at night because the fish have excellent vision. Just a dark shadow of the boat or a strange noise from the propeller, and the entire massive school of fish will immediately dive deep to the bottom beyond the reach of the seine net. The captain stands by the cabin window, one hand on the steering wheel, the other constantly adjusting the throttle. He must accurately calculate the wind direction, the direction of the surface current. The seine net was being cast out at breakneck speed. Yellow and orange foam buoys floated brightly against the deep blue sea, forming a giant ribbon that tightly secured the area. The fishermen on deck toiled under the scorching sun, their shirts soaked with sweat clinging to their backs, yet their hands moved swiftly, dropping lead weights and pulling the securing lines.
அதோட இந்த வீடியோ பிடிச்சிருந்தா லைக், ஷேர், சப்ஸ்கிரைப் செய்யுமி. இந்த வீடியோ லாஸ்ட்
Unlike the nighttime nets, where the fish are disoriented by the lights, the daytime fish, trapped in a confined space, frantically try to escape. They lunge violently at the mesh, attempting to push their heads to the bottom to find a way out. The ship's hydraulic winch system begins to groan with dry, harsh sounds due to the excessive load. The steel cables connecting from the top of the crane are taut and vibrate violently. Brothers, the fish are biting the nets fiercely. Shouts and urgings echoed continuously on deck. The weight of the nets was now estimated to exceed 150 tons. The ship was tilted sharply to the starboard side, seawater overflowing the edges of the hull and lapping at the fishermen's feet. The situation was extremely critical. If they didn't pull in the bottom in time to close the nets, the school of fish would drag the entire net down to the deep seabed. Every meter of net hold in was a meter of victory, as the last buoys of the net bag were pulled close to the ship's side. The sea surface beside the ship turned completely into a frothy silver color. Hundreds of tons of mackerel and tuna were crammed together, thrashing wildly. The thrashing of millions of fins created a thunderous roar like a rumbling thunderclap in the open sea, a magnificent and overwhelming sight that only those who have experienced the sea and wind have. The doors to holds number 2 and 3 of the ship were flung open. The cable of the enormous hydraulic scoop, the king of scoops, was lowered. As the scoop plunged deep into the fish bag and was lifted, it carried a massive load of fish weighing 4 or 5 tons at a time. The crane rotated 90 degrees, suspending the fish in midair before stopping directly in front of the hatch.